Hi, Tim Sells here. In this video, I'm going to be talking about can't get myself to do it. I did a similar video, but it had to do with ideology. This particular one has to do with the habits and routines. All right, so this has to do, and a lot of people in network marketing who have joined, they come to the meetings, they're on the calls and things like that, but they're just not able to get themselves, it's kind of like that dream, that you're trying to get across that section, but you just can't quite get there. They're not able to quite get themselves to do it, right? And they think, and they go to some goal training thing and they say, your why isn't big enough, and it's like, if that's not it, right? In other words, it's kind of invalidating to them because they know that their why is big enough, but they're not doing it. Okay. All right. So it's a bit of an indecision trap. So the person is kind of, should I do it or can I do it? I know I can do it if I put my mind to it, but I'm not doing it. And so that thing gets into this sort of a bouncy thing, and it tends to dig a deep hole that it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And so anyway, that's what I'm trying to do here is to assist you in helping another person with this, because you all know the simplicity of what you do. You generate a lead, you contact them, you set an appointment, you do a presentation, you follow up, right? And if they say no, you put them over and not interested. If they say I'll think about it, you sit them there, and and you keep following up until they say yes or no. If they say yes, well, okay, good. You're going to go through logistics, and then you're going to teach them the pipeline, and you're going to repeat the process. It's not hard. There is no amount of panting that is needed. It is as simple as it. I mean, I don't know a simpler thing. Okay. But some people put this thing up so big and so much effort must be there that they just cannot undo that. Okay, so what do? Well, I have seen a situation very, very common, which is they just never worked out the sequence. Number one, the sequence. And it is, okay, so first thing, you got to figure out what presentation you're going to have people look at. All right? And then you go here. Number two, which is, in other words, what lead am I going to generate to see that presentation? Or who in my contact list do I think would have an interest in this? Okay? So they never quite arranged this. And so then after that, it's what am I going to say to the person to get them to see that or to set the appointment? Okay? That really, I know it seems extremely simple, and it is, and just about all of my stuff, it always comes down to real simple stuff. It's just only logic. Okay, so let me give you an analogy so that I can bring it back to this and you can see it. So I helped a whole bunch of people really, truly lose weight. And they kept it off. Okay? Something that is almost magical today. And I did it myself. Okay? So what was one of the most significant things of it? Their routine around food evidently is working against their goal. What else could it be? And so whatever they have formed as a routine, daily routine, morning routine, lunch routine, dinner routine, their habits, whether it be dragging the chip through some kind of a dip or something, like they have a routine that is causing them to have a big belly. Okay? So I needed not just to tell them what to eat, like the pipeline, I needed to get them to take a step. I needed him to go over to the cabinet and to take all the items on this list and put it in a bag, right? Seal it up, throw it away, take a picture of it in the garbage can. That's the old you. That was your old routine that got you a result that you absolutely know you get consistently. And I did a bunch of other things, okay? In the same way, whatever the income is now, it could only come from your routine because you are generating it, or you built a big business and it's being generated for you. But you get the idea now is that you would have to set up a presentation in order to be able to send a prospect to. And then the next thing that you would have to do in order for that to work would be to get people into that, right? And so I want to know what I'm going to say to them here or here. And then do it. And then see what recoil happens, right? So in other words, they say yes, they say no. All right, is that bad? Is that good? Or nothing? It's a zero. It's a null point. To me, because if I get a cluster of reply backs, the same kind of a comment back, okay, well then I'm going to check my lead source. I'm going to check what this presentation is saying, or that I'm saying during this invite. So I will use it once I get a cluster in order to assess. I'm not going to just because I got one reply or 10 replies. Maybe if it's maybe 20%, 10% of the replies that I get are all the same thing, I'll begin to assess that. Okay, but I want to keep this simple, and the simple part is that the person can't unstick their feet because of a simple concept, which they just don't know the sequence to do these. That's it. And so work it out for them, step them through. It's just like when you're teaching your kid how to put their own pants on. You've been doing it for a long, long time, and it's time for them. They're going to be a big boy now, and you just teach them how to balance on that one foot. You know what I mean? And sit down and do different things. You teach them these things. And so in the same way, sometimes people need that just little extra tug, okay? So make doing the pipeline a habit, all right? So not doing the pipeline is their current habit. Okay, so there's this concept, okay? So who are you? Well, me. Okay, who's me? What's your identity? Okay, it's not what you, well, I can't almost say this, but it is a composition of your habits. That's who you are. You may think you're somebody else, but it truly is a composition of your habits. It's not what you did in the military or what you did in school and what you did in high school or college football. It's none of those things anymore. Today, sorry, I know it's humbling for me too. Today, it is what are your daily habits? And, just follow yourself around, write it down, and you'll find out who you are. So not doing the pipeline is the person's current habit, okay? Obviously. All new habits must be driven in daily routines. In other words, for the guys that I was helping losing weight, I gave them a brand new morning routine. And I say, all right, gentlemen, you're going to wake up and you're going to be new. And in this new life, you're going to wake up and you're going to brush your teeth. Don't swallow one time before you brush your teeth. And I just walked them through this whole process of what they were going to do. And they all did it. They showed up on the webinar on Tuesday and they all checked off every single item that they needed to do. And that's driving in a new habit to create a new identity. That is the only way you can create a new identity is to become someone new by changing your daily habits. Okay? All new habits must be driven in. You could have been in network marketing for 20 years and never did the pipeline. And you find these experts all over the place. They're the ones who are training others how to do network marketing because it evidently isn't good enough to do anymore. In other words, like I fell into it. I honestly, and I'm being just, humble in the way that I tell you this, is that, so I built for 5 years, then I retired for 18 years. And, people would come up and they would ask me and they say, well, why aren't you building anymore today? And I said, I did build. I'm off the residual income. But yeah, but if you love it so much, why aren't you doing it? And I remember, like, I gave them an answer, but I remember it bit me. Like, that question bit me. I didn't quite understand why it bit me. And, like the day that I joined that company, and I was like, man, that last video I did, I talked about projecting failure. And I was like, I looked down what it looks like and I go, wow, I kind of can't fail here because I portrayed myself of being knowledgeable. And so, all right, well, here we go. And a lot of people who've been in network marketing and have succeeded can't do it twice. And it's simply because they just don't change their habits and routine. They like that cushiony spot of being the expert, but not up to date expert, but just the expert. You know what I mean? So, and you could have been in 20 companies. So I found somebody was like tooting out there and they were talking about how they had been in 4 companies and they know network marketing and blah, 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 blah. And they were talking on the anti side of it, and I'm like, it doesn't impress me that you've been in 4 companies. That doesn't have anything to do with it. It has to do with how effective are you. So, all right. So here we go. Some people can't see the simplicity of change. All right. If somebody has the idea like that they can't change and become whatever is needed to become. I did not, when I was born, think that I was going to go and wrap my hands around a bomb and defuse it. How did I get to that space? Well, I got to that space because I saw something really, really cool in a history book that showed some guy welding underwater, and I couldn't imagine how in the world he could do that without getting shocked. Okay, and I was like, how do you want to do that? And so I was very fascinated with it. And so I did whatever I had to do in order to be able to go to underwater welding school, and that was join the Navy. And when I joined the Navy, I find this cool group, Spec Ops, and then I just kept advancing in Spec Ops. So that's kind of the way that I just kept changing, is because I liked learning really elite stuff. Okay, so the simple message that I have in this video is that when you observe somebody not doing it or afraid of doing it, but they can't really even put their finger on what they're afraid of, well, that's the point. Just work it out. Presentation number 1. Number 2, what are you going to say to the lead? Where are you going to get these leads from? Is it a temporary set? Right? So sometimes the guy's got 30 contacts in his phone. He wants to have them see one presentation, and then he's going to go out and he's going to do Facebook ads or whatever it is. Okay, good. All right. So I recommend, as the simplicity, they're stuck, right? They've dug themselves in thought in this deep hole that's got a big old ridge over it before they can even come out of there. I just think they ought to get 50 inexpensive leads and just call them. And just be willing to fail every time. You're not trying to get them to join or buy your product. I mean, you're saying that, but be willing to fail on all 50, because what the person is obsessed with is failing. Oh, get over that, man. That failing is the awesome part. Failing is the part where they taught you in school that you're not supposed to fail. Any entrepreneur will tell you, the more you fail, the more you learn. So that's really my message here, is to get it moving, get them moving, and being willing to accept a failure. Get 50 no's, and you won't believe how visceral that person becomes. They become really, really I can do anything. right? And that's the attitude that you want out of a person. All right. So let me know what you think. Have you had the same experience? Did you ever get stuck to where you had put so much effort on this thing that you couldn't ever start? And if you did, how did you unwind yourself from doing that? Okay. So let me know down below. If you haven't subscribed, you might do so. Thanks so much.